On this episode of How to Make Dinner, I'm making 3 winter salsa recipes. It's the middle of winter and tomatoes kind of suck right now, at least where I live on the west coast of Canada. This is a vine-ripened tomato from my local grocery store, and it's the best you can get this time of year, but it still kind of sucks. Making homemade salsa is such a good way to add tons of punch to your food. It just makes everything come alive, and it's zingy and acidic and sweet and juicy. But what do we do when we can't use fresh tomatoes because they suck? Well, I have 3 different winter salsa ideas for you, and they're all gonna add tons and tons of flavor and juiciness and nice, cold, crisp texture contrast to whatever you add them to. And I'm not using any of these. Not a tomato in sight. I'll just hide this. Salsa number 1 is a grapefruit salsa. I was talking to my friend Julia the other day, and she was like, is there anything in winter better than citrus? Like, citrus is it, right? Like, it's the best thing about winter. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, you know, you're kind of right. I mean, citrus really does wonders in the wintertime because it's so punchy and so bright, and it just kind of clears away the winter blues in a heartbeat. So we're gonna make a grapefruit salsa. I just cut grapefruit on last week's episode, so I'm not going to do a full tutorial here, but I'm just going to cut the outside off. And you can be as finicky as you want. I'm just going to do a pretty rough chop. I kind of like to cut out this middle bit first and foremost because it often reveals some seeds. So if I cut that away, it makes it easy to pick out the seeds. I don't want to lose any of this juice, so I'm going to slide the whole board to the edge and just scoop it right into my bowl. With any salsa, I like to have a few different components. I like to have a kind of herbal flavor component. I usually like to have something kind of garlicky and or oniony, and I almost always like to have something spicy. So in this salsa, I'm going to use red onion. This is a stupid piece of red onion. A red onion that I awkwardly cut earlier, so now it's even more awkward to cut. I'm not going to add all of this. I like to go fairly fine with the red onion. And then just because I was in the mood, I thought I would pick up a little bit of mint for this salsa. Mint is one of those things that it is really easy to grow, but for some reason, I always fail at it. So I end up buying a lot of mint or raiding my neighbors' yards for their mint secretly. I'm gonna add a few chili flakes to this one. Definitely to taste. And because grapefruit is acidic, but it's not really like sharp acidic, it's more sweet acidic, I'm gonna add a little splash of tarragon vinegar for a little extra tang. And a little tiny drizzle of olive oil just to kind of lube it up. And a fairly reasonable sized pinch of salt. That looks nice. And that's pretty much it. That's a very simple, quick grapefruit salsa. I'm gonna give a little bite. That'll wake anything up. I would be very happy to have this on any kind of fish or seafood, even on like a nice piece of chicken with a bit of salad on the side. Wrap it up into some kind of veggie wrap, Put it on any of your tacos. Pretty much just use it in any way you would use salsa normally. I'm gonna make a quick taco using this salsa. I have my favorite tortillas here from a local tortilla maker, Maize. They are so good. You definitely can't get them if you don't live on Vancouver Island, but I think you should probably just look out for some local tortilla makers where you live, because it's like night and day. They smell like roasted corn, like corn on the cob. They're definitely more expensive than your average tortilla, but they're well worth it. And I've learned a recent hack, also from my friend Julia, that you can just stick these in the toaster. So I'm gonna do that. So I've got my nice little tortilla here, and I have some smoked tuna, another local ingredient. I got kind of spoiled this weekend. This is from a fishing co-op that I just signed up for. It's called Skipper Auto, and it's really cool. Basically, you just place an order once a year or twice a year, and they let you know when they're back with all their catch, and they say, okay, come and pick up your catch. It's amazing. You order everything online, and it tells you a little story about the fisherman and who caught your fish. I'm just gonna take a few pieces of this smoked tuna and lay it on my warm tortilla here. And then I have a little bit of the lime kind of crema that I made just with some of my homemade yogurt and a little bit of lime zest. So I'll just give that a little drizzle. And then a spoon of this salsa over the top. I think this is a great, well, one of them is a great snack, but give me 4 of them and I've got a great dinner or lunch. I'm super into that. There's nothing not to like about that. Next up is a corn salsa, and I'm calling it a smoky roasted corn salsa, even though it's kind of a bit of a misnomer. I'm not actually roasting the corn at all. I have a little bit of a beef with roasted corn, to be honest. Everybody's always like, ooh, roasted corn, ooh, roasted, grilled, like caramelized, roasted things in general. Like, yeah, I mean, I love roasted things, but I don't love roasted corn. Do you know why? Because it stops it from being juicy, and I like juicy corn. So instead of roasting the corn, I've roasted a bunch of other stuff that I'm going to fold into the corn and give it roasty, toasty flavor. So I've got a bunch of corn, and this is just frozen corn straight out of the bag, straight out of the freezer. I just kind of like steamed it till it was not frozen anymore. And then I sliced up a regular yellow onion, and I had a jalapeno and a few garlic cloves, and I tossed those in some oil and salt and roasted them at 425 for about 15 minutes or so. And this is what I got from that. So I got some really nice roasted onion slices. I have a roasted, soft, mushy jalapeno, and I have 3 or 4 roasted garlic cloves in their skin. So I'm just gonna chop all this up and add it to the corn, and it'll be roasty and delicious. A jalapeno, whether you want the seeds or not, is up to you. I think because it's roasted, I might just scrape the seeds out, just because it's easy to do. Ooh, that's so nice. And you can also peel the skin off if you're not into that. It comes off really easily, but I'm not too fussed. So we've got the corn, the garlic, the roasty onions and jalapenos, and I'm going to add a little bit of smoked paprika. I'm not a huge user of smoked paprika. I do think that it's really easy to overdo it on the smoke factor, but I'm going to add like a 1/4 teaspoon maybe. I think there was a time when we all got a little bit carried away with the smoke. It was like chipotle this, smoked paprika that. It's like, give me a break, people. Let's just Not everything has to be smoky all the time, you know, but this salsa does have to be smoky, at least in my humble opinion. I also have some tajin, which is one of my favorite seasonings. It's kind of got like lime, like citric acid, and it's a little bit spicy and makes everything tangy and really good. So I'm gonna sprinkle a bit of that in. Corn obviously doesn't have a whole lot of kick to it, not like say grapefruit or tomatoes or things you normally make salsa out of. So it's good to just add that in. I'm also gonna squeeze some lime. And actually I'm gonna zest some lime too. When I think about the qualities I want in a salsa, I want it to be a flavor explosion, and I also want it to be a juice explosion. So lime zest, the tajin, the smoked paprika, it's all just gonna make this thing so flavorful. And then the corn is juicy and the onions are juicy because they were roasted. These are really nice juicy limes. Pinch of salt. And that's it. I mean, I really want to add cilantro. I'm just going to add some cilantro. I'm going to add cilantro because I can't help myself, but it's totally optional. Yeah, see, it just looks right. Just looks right, it just feels right. If it doesn't feel right to you, it's none of my beeswax. Oh. So, the smoky paprika is like just subtle, and the corn is sweet and bursting with juice. This obviously you could use in tons of different ways. You can lay it on your tacos, you can lay it on your burgers as a topping, you can put it into a wrap, you can put it on fish, chicken, meat, whatever you want. I'm gonna use it as a component of a bit of a burrito bowl kind of thing that I'm having for dinner. I've got some freshly steamed rice here. I had a piece of ling cod and I just kind of simmered it in a spicy tomato sauce, and then I added some black beans. So that's the main kind of protein element of this bowl. And then I have some just steamed sweet potatoes, yams, pile of those, and then a big pile of this salsa. And then I'm gonna take some of my lime yogurt that I made earlier and just drizzle that on top. Mostly on the sweet potatoes because those are pretty plain. And maybe just a couple decorative cilantro leaves on top of that. And that's it. That's the smoky, roasty corn salsa in action in my dinner. The final salsa of the day is a kiwi salsa, which I had never made before and I had never thought of before until very recently. So I thought it'd be a good one to, you know, premiere on the old YouTubes. So I have 5 kiwis here, and I do have a trick for peeling kiwi. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but you can actually just cut the top off and the bottom off, and then you can take a teaspoon and slide it right under the skin. And you can kind of see the spoon working underneath there. And then if you're lucky, and if you have the right amount of ripeness on your kiwi and the right amount of dexterity, you can kind of just swirl it around until it reaches the beginning. And then you can just, whoop. Kind of fun, hey? So I'm gonna continue to dominate the rest of these kiwis with my amazing technique. These kiwis are the perfect amount of ripeness, which is awesome. And kiwis are actually quite local to where I live. I don't think these particular ones are local, but you definitely see kiwi trees around. And it's so cool that they're in season in the fall and winter, because they seem like a tropical fruit, but they're really not. Or maybe they are too, I don't know. I don't know very much. I'm not a kiwi expert, okay? I just really like eating them. If you know more about kiwis than I do, please feel free to let me know in the comments. School me. Well, that went off without a hitch. I'm gonna chop these kiwis up into little chunks. Okay, I can't go another minute. Such a good kiwi. I have a shallot, which is just a really nice milder kind of onion. I really love shallots, especially when you're gonna have them raw. It's really nice and kind of sweet and mild. I think I'm just gonna go with the half shallot for now. And a little bit of ginger. And I'm gonna grate the ginger in with the microplane. And then I'm also gonna squeeze some lime in there. Lime is by far one of my favorite salsa flavors. So I'm gonna add some cilantro to this one. The bowl's a bit small, but that's okay. Pinch of salt. And then give it the old toss-a-roo. Look at that, so nice. So juicy, so tangy. I would just eat this as a salad, to be honest. Ooh, it's really, really good. So much lime. The ginger. The lime, the ginger, the kiwi. Oh, it's like exciting, you know? Now, what to do with this kiwi salsa? I'll tell you what to do. You take some shrimp, you poach the shrimp gently in some water with a little bit of lemon and a little bit of salt and a bay leaf. Chop the shrimp into little chunks, little bite-sized bites, and then cut some big sections off of an iceberg lettuce and kind of separate them into individual, I don't know, wraps, I guess. And then you take your shrimp and you put a little pile of shrimp on each one. And then you take your kiwi salsa. Maybe I'll put it here so I can see it in the shot. And spoon a little bit of kiwi salsa right over each one. Obviously, you can use this kiwi salsa for lots of different things, not just for these shrimp lettuce wrap cup taco things, but this is a really good way to use it. But honestly, I'm so into this kiwi salsa. I'm gonna be making it a lot more this winter. It's like, it just makes my day, you know? It's so good. So refreshing. It's so good, isn't it? Like, okay, new thing we're eating every single freaking day.
Everything's amazing.
It's an explosion. Okay, I think there's definitely gonna be a recipe for this, a real one coming up.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the kiwi salsa is gonna have a recipe, 100%. Okay.
That shrimp.
I wanna just like eat it with a spoon, you know? I hope that these winter salsa ideas help brighten up your winter dinners and maybe even your winter blues, if you have them. I mean, don't we all a little bit sometimes? We're gonna take a couple weeks off to prepare for the spring season, which is right around the corner. And so I might put a few like little bonus episodes out in that time. We'll see. thanks so much for being here. Thank you so much for all the likes and the subscribes and the comments, and we'll see you in the next video.